I'm Racer's Marshall Pruett for one last time. Hello from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and the 107th running of the Indianapolis 500, won by Josef Newgarden, Team Penske and Team Chevy. What do we do today? Well, to be honest, with it being Memorial Day, with this being a national holiday, I'd hope most of y'all are relaxing, reflecting and such. The team owners, team members, crew members, and engineers that I've spoken to within IndyCar today, I can tell you they are not kicking their feet up on the porch, consuming adult beverages. There's a race next weekend, this weekend. Friday practice starts for the Detroit Grand Prix, so we might have just finished the biggest race on the calendar, huge deal and all that stuff, but there is no slowing down since we have yet another race to do here 7 days after the one we just finished. So, but this is indeed time to wind things down for the 500. I've been here for 18 days, started the Indy Grand Prix. I'm looking forward to going home. I've got 2 days home with Mrs. Pruett. She's a little mad at me because that's all I'm gonna have at home. And then after 18 days here, head to France to cover the 24 hours of Le Mans. More about that in a moment, but I think I'll be there for like 12 days. So, and then come home for 2 and then go to Road America IndyCar. So this is gonna prove to be the longest stretch of continuous travel for me in this role, I think, just about ever. So just trying to power through it, y'all. Only about halfway through, but looking forward to getting to the end and having some downtime and celebrating her birthday at the end of June. Also, just want to say before getting into a couple of post-race items, I did do some counting. I used my fingers and my toes and whatnot, and really proud of what RACER has done this month, along with our friends at Coforce, video and media professionals. Between about half the videos I did on my own, half the videos they did on their own, or the ones we all collaborated on, this video will make 47 that we put up in 17 days. There's one day where I didn't put up a video just because I didn't have any energy to, but we put up content every single day I was on the ground here. But yeah, 47 videos in 17 days. Really just proud of this video initiative that I wanted and pushed everyone to make happen, and it's happening, and I'm glad it seems to be going in the right direction. So huge thank you to Coforce, Nick Leo, Max Butler, John McClain, Johnny Baker, and the whole team there. So they're really and truly big parts of why we're able to up our video game. So big thanks to them. What did we have going on today? Well, usually the winner of the Indy 500 goes out and destroys themselves that night with all kinds of fun and whatnot. A little side note, a lot of things close early here. So by 9 or 10 p.m., it's pretty hard to get a meal, to do a lot of things. So Josef Newgarden didn't exactly hit it too hard. I don't think he really hit it hard last night at all. But nonetheless, up here, ready to go at 9 a.m. for the winner's photo. That's a tradition been going on for many years. And they bring out all kinds of folks, not just your team members, but seemingly everybody from everywhere, giving you strange things they present, quilts and guns and all, just a lot. So that was a couple hours for Josef, and then after that came up to the media center doing more interviews, post-day interviews. So I don't know exactly when he got up, probably early to do TV spots and whatnot, but from the time he sat on his car on the yard of bricks to the time he was done with interviews here, 5 hours at least. So again, I'm sure there was more before that. Not a lot of rest when you win the Indy 500. If you're a person who likes sleep and a lack of interruption in your life, don't win this race. But if you like money and acclaim and lifelong fame here at least, well, this is not the worst thing to do. Hey, so since the race ended, and I just got a whole bunch of questions for the RACER mailbag, and have seen a lot of other things posted on social media. Hey, there's a lot of conspiracy theories going on, and I'm not a conspiracy theory guy. But if you present me with good evidence, I'll at least watch or listen or ponder. And IndyCar didn't want a Swede to win the Indy 500, so that's why they went to the red flag to engineer a situation where an American would win, but they didn't necessarily want Ferrucci to win. They wanted Newgarden to win because Roger Penske owns the series and the track, and of course he's going to manipulate it. And there's a special like bat phone in race control right in front of race director Kyle Novak, and whenever Roger wants something, he just calls him and Kyle picks up the bat phone and, okay, we're going to throw a red flag and we're going to move your car to second, so he's guaranteed to win when we restart the race. Okay, got it. What other conspiracies did we, I mean, come on, man. I get it. It was always going to be weird and uncomfortable and lead to speculation when Roger Penske won his first Indy 500 while owning the series and track. I get it. The minute the place was bought, we all said, all right, it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable when he goes to victory lane as the team owner and series owner and track owner. Knew that from the beginning. Did we really doubt, though, that it was ever going to happen? Come on. He's the winningest entrant ever. Had won 18 prior to Sunday. Now he's won 19. Happened in his 4th year of owning it. If he was going to try and cheat and game things, I'd just say you're a little late to the party, Raj. Why wait so long? Why not do it earlier and just say, F you, it's mine? I'm a big fan of doubting folks when there's reasons to doubt them. This just seems dumb. Why? If you look at Josef Newgarden's progression through the field, and this isn't me defending Penske. Well, I haven't spoken with him in 6 months. We're not exactly friends. I have no love for Team Penske any more than I do anyone else or Josef Newgarden. I can just tell you this. I am, though, very partial to reality. And what I saw, what I noticed by the halfway point of the race, look at Newgarden. This guy's charging. This guy's on a constant rise. And you take a look and go, hey, he started 17th. Where was he 25 laps in? I think he was like P15. You look at him at lap 50, you look at him at lap 100, and you go, my goodness, this guy's on a rise. And you look at lap 150, where was he? P2. So, no red flags, no cautions, no major any problems. And where is this guy? At lap 150, not lap 185 when we got the first red, not lap 192 or 193 when we got the second red, but where was he prior to all of that? Guy's running right at the front on merit, on speed, and on strength. And yet, because of how IndyCar chose to go red with that big crash with Felix Rosenqvist and Kyle Kirkwood and try and preserve laps to have a green flag finish, then we had another crash, which led them to follow the precedent of the first one and do a second red. Okay. Then we have a third scenario where precedent's now been set twice with reds. Kind of expect them to follow that precedent and go with a third. Now all of a sudden we have the race being fixed. Again, if I saw it, I would absolutely say it, without a doubt. Would say it, write it, you name it. I don't see it. And I know the natural reaction is, well, you're an idiot, or you're a shill, or you're... No, look, if they were trampling upon the integrity of the sport, I absolutely would be screaming this as loud as I could. What frustrates me is when I see nothing to suggest that, and folks with no evidence, no knowledge of anything, just start saying, Newgarden's an illegitimate winner. He didn't deserve that. This was rigged. Kyle Novak is just a bad actor. Newgarden, fierce all day long, raced his way into contention for the win before anything went wrong. And the fact that the guy won is somehow had to be manufactured, I don't buy it. So let's just hopefully put that stuff to rest, because it taints what was an excellent race. And here's another quick thing. Marcus Ericsson was screwed. Either way. Leading when that final red flag came out. Actually was watching, was standing on pit lane not far from his pit box. Standing on pit lane, with that scenario that became the third red, just as they came by under caution that time. And it occurred to me, if they finish under caution, this place is going to boo like you have never heard before. Absolute unhappiness from folks who've had a pretty thrilling second half of the race. And now we're going to kill the possibility of excitement of the finish by staying yellow to the end. Ericsson is going to be the least popular Indy 500 winner in recent memory. Granted, he'll get a nice check for it, but this guy is not going to be someone going, hey, congratulations on your back-to-back wins. It's going to be, all right, whatever. I mean, you were leading when it came out, but they could have preserved this and gone green. And flip it the other way, if it went red while leading, he was screwed there as well, because whomever was behind him, barring some crazy act, was going to get in front of him. So I don't know if this Indy 500, with these late crashes and the reds and how things were handled, were going to do anything but leave folks feeling a little bit conflicted, if not frustrated. I get it. I'm not saying any of those feelings are wrong. I'm just saying I don't think there was anything dastardly or underhanded that led to what we got. Couple more quick things. Comments about, I can't believe that they're going green after just an out lap to close the race with that single lap run to determine the Indy 500 lap 200. Tires are going to be cold, it's going to be dangerous. How are they doing this? Asked a friend of mine, a race engineer for a very good team that had a very strong finish yesterday, and said, hey, out of curiosity, talking about tires are cold, was it dangerous to go green after just sending them out of the pits to come around and go racing again? Can you tell me what, say, the right front tire temperature was, pressure was, coming out of turn 4 on lap 1, right? With the field coming to the green flag for the first time. Can you tell me what the right front tire was at there? Compare that to what your driver's right front tire was coming to green for lap 200. And was told, effectively no difference. So it's good to put some actual data behind that, real numbers, to say, okay, I understand there might have been a concern, were the tires too cold, were they being placed in jeopardy? In reality, based on the factual information in place, going green on the final lap without one complete lap to warm up the tires was no more dangerous than waving the green flag to start the Indy 500. So covered that off a little bit. Questions, and it took me a little while to see some more pictures and discern exactly what was what on Kyle Kirkwood's crash. Obviously not his fault at all. Ended up clipping the spinning and crashing Felix Rosenqvist, and that tire and wheel assembly that came off thankfully cleared the crowd, hit a car but did not hit anybody. It was unclear if that was a stub axle failure or something different. Had some folks say, hey, wait a minute, I thought the wheels were tethered to the cars. The wheels aren't tethered, they spin at like a zillion miles an hour and they come on and off during pit stops, so we've never seen cables attached to them. So, and I don't really know how wheels and tires would spin if they had a cable to hold on to them. That'd kind of get wound up pretty quickly. But I thought it was a stub axle failure at first with how easily the wheel came off. The wheels attached to the suspension uprights. The upright is what the suspension, the A-arms bolt to, and the steering arms. Drive shaft at the rear, those go through the upright, and on the end of those shafts you have a stub axle. That's the threaded part. The wheel goes on to the upright, onto the flange for the brakes, the brake hat. There's little dowels that hold the wheel in place. And then there's a stub axle which comes through the center of the wheel. There are threads on that stub axle. That's what the wheel nut goes onto. I thought that got broken, freeing the wheel to come off of the entire upright assembly. With looking at more photos, I'm apologizing for forgetting the gentleman's name on Twitter who had asked about it, but he'd put up a photo and I went and found some others. You can see that it was not a stub axle failure that allowed the wheel to go free. This was a greater failure that happened with the tether itself on the upright, and that assembly got shot over the fence there. So is this a big failure on IndyCar's part? I've read some folks who want to take them to task for this. I try and come back to the point of, you try and game plan for everything. You try and make everything as safe as can be, never have any failures of any safety devices ever. Has it ever happened in the history of Earth? It never has. There's always something that fails on something where you go, that should do its job perfectly all the time, but we found a specific scenario where an impact happened this way, or force was applied in this manner at this speed where we exceeded that safety device's tolerance. I don't know any of the details of what happened. I mean, I don't think they've done a full exhaustive examination of this to get that answer yet, but I think we just have a case here where no one expected it to fail, but it did, and so why? What things can we do better to learn and improve from this incident? These are meant to hold things on to cars, but I, again, never expect 100% perfection, because this is motor racing with more variables than we can ever possibly try and control. Most of all, obviously thankful that nobody was hurt. Do I think we come back here next year and see some higher fencing placed? Do we know how high to go? I don't know, but I'd be surprised if there wasn't something done to say, you know what, we just want to add a little bit more protection a little higher up, make sure that we are hopefully never letting a wheel or any other body parts from the car, suspension, anything get up into the stand. So let me just say one big thank you again to y'all for following along, looking at our YouTube stuff, all the daily words and whatnot on racer.com. Going to be having some fun in France. This will be my 11th time heading to cover the 24 Hours of Le Mans. First time since 2016. We'll be there with the Garage 56 program. So going to see my favorite recent former IndyCar driver. I also heard he did some NASCAR stuff. Rumors of Jimmy Johnson, Jenson Button, and then Mike Rockenfeller. So we'll be doing some form of daily videos there with and through and for the Garage 56 effort. Not exactly sure if and what I'll be doing on the racer video side, but we'll figure out that stuff here in about 5 days. So I'm Marshall Pruett. Thanks again for watching all month long. I'll speak to you soon.